That was the first day in pads, particularly your position, right? You get to mix it up.
Definitely. First day in pads, we're getting physical right out the gate. I mean, this is what football is all about. You know what I mean? When you get the pads on, I mean, you can just feel the energy go up. You know what I mean? Because now it's like we're playing real football now. So, I mean, I love it. I'm excited to just keep getting these pads popping and, you know what I mean, and keep playing football. But especially at the running back position, you love having pads on because then it feels more natural in the run game and stuff like that. It feels more real, and you get a better just feel for how it's going to be in the game.
What did you show out there today personally?
I think part of the reason why they drafted me is just, you know, my ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and also just in the run game, you know, being able to, you know, take some runs and just showing that I'm willing to do everything in the special teams game too, playing wing, all those things.
I know Jonathan Taylor hasn't been out there, obviously, but if you play this position, you know his game. Just what have you observed over him over the years, just as an observer of Jonathan? What do you think about him?
Definitely. Well, I've been studying his game since, probably since I was in high school, honestly. So, I mean, when I first got to the Colts, like that was the most exciting thing for me, was to be able to kind of be under him and learn from him firsthand, because I've been studying his Wisconsin film and his Colts film for a long time. And really his biggest thing is he doesn't waste a step. He doesn't waste a step. Everything he does has a vertical purpose, and you can tell by when he makes that cut, he's getting upfield. And what seems like, you know, it might be a 3-yard gain, he makes it into a 7-yard gain, and it's just those little things. So very efficient footwork, pad level, and just he's an efficient runner.
Have you had a chance to talk to him, like just with everything going on? Has he offered any advice to you about how to approach, you know, running back position in the NFL?
Not necessarily though. I don't really know his whole situation. So I mean, the biggest thing is like we just keep it football.
That's what I'm asking. Like coming in every day, has he offered you any advice just as far as like?
Oh, definitely. What's biggest thing? Just taking care of your body. You know, being available. That's the biggest thing. Because you never know what's gonna happen out here. So taking care of your body, being on top of everything, and being proactive rather than reactive. For sure.
Dean talked about you know, having that the receiver skill set. How early did that start for you, just to make sure that you can be more versatile coming back?
For sure. That started, I would say, in college, because actually in high school I couldn't really catch the ball for real. That was something I had to kind of hone into. That was one of my weaknesses. So I wanted to make my weakness into one of my strengths, and so it's something I've been continuously working on. I would say my junior year is when I really began to show glimpses of, you know, what I could do in that sphere, and I just continue to hone in on it every single day and continue to sharpen that edge.
Did you always know you were going to be a running back, like from youth football on?
Actually, yeah. It's honestly like one of the only things I've ever done, to be honest. Starting youth football, like the coach handed me a ball. He saw I could run fast, and that was that. You know what I mean? I started off playing a little defense and things like that, but I just fell in love with the running back position, and I've stuck with it.
Does that dream tighten, change at all, just with what's going on with running backs right now? You're entering a league where it's just kind of under fire a little bit right now.
Not necessarily. I think it just creates more grit within you, knowing that you know, everything that you do, you know, it means something. You know what I mean? I take a lot of pride in being a running back, so I'm going to continue to do that and continue to show my skill set in the pass game, because, you know, NFL is a passing league, so I'm going to continue to get the ball in my hands every way I can.
Who pushed you towards that in college? Like, was it something that, like, the coach that was like, hey, we want to get you more involved with it? Something that you saw in yourself, like, hey, I got to put this into my game? I
would say it was something I saw in myself initially, and then my coaches really helped me hone that even more so, especially with the route running stuff, just the more technical things of it. I know I wanted to get my hands right, and that was something that I peeped as a weakness. And so being just so hypercritical of myself in my game, I always want to attack my weaknesses. And so that was something I began to attack, and my coaches saw that. And when they saw that, they're like, okay, let's get your route running the same level. And so I got with my coaches, you know, after practice, before practice, and started really honing in on the details of my route running, and then it just started to build off of that.
You start with the Colts in kind of a unique era with one of the biggest names in running backs, Jonathan Taylor, not practicing. How are you using that to your advantage out here when he's not taking reps and you are?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is, like, you just take advantage of the opportunities you're given. That's the bottom line. That's all it is. It doesn't matter, like, to me, where those opportunities might be or not. It's just when those opportunities arise, your biggest thing is to seize them, and I trust God through this whole process. And so that's what I plan on doing. But like I said, it's just football. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go out and play football.
In between mini camp and training camp, what was your like training regimen like? Did you stay in contact with a lot of these new teammates that you just made? Like, how'd that go?
For sure, a little bit. I was back home for the most part, and I got back with my trainer that I did most of my combine training with. So we just kind of got back to, just getting in that explosive shape that I was for the combine, and just mixing in those things that's gonna help me get ready for having pads on for camp and things like that, conditioning and stuff like that. But ultimately, I wanted to come in here being explosive, being conditioned, being able to catch the ball well, and just being strong overall.
You're obviously going through a lot of firsts. I know you mentioned on draft night, like how just grateful you were to be here. So you had like a, dang, I'm in camp moment, or a first day of pads moment. Like, have you had a lot of those moments? Or
a little bit, yeah. I think one of them really hit me when, like, the first day coming into the facility and just seeing my name and my number up in the locker room, where my locker is. That one really hit me a little bit. I got a little emotional there. Just seeing like that I got to keep my number 26. It means something to me. And then going from there, putting the pads on for the first time, I got a little emotional too. Just like, it's the same deal, you know what I mean? So I'm very thankful to be here, very grateful, and I thank God every day for this opportunity.
You mentioned JT studying his game. Are there other backs as you've been growing up, since you've always known you're going to be a running back, that you've kind of admired or tried to model after a little bit?
Absolutely, especially the running backs who have that versatility factor. From the Danian Tomlinson from back in the day to nowadays Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, those type of backs that can really just do it all out on the field. That's who I want to be. Is a guy that can do it all and never has to come off the field.
So with JT not out there, you can't replace him, right? You just talked about how great he is, but does him being here, what the standard for the running game is here? Does that kind of create a standard when he's the starter?
Absolutely. I mean, he is the standard for sure. Yeah. He is the standard, and he's created that standard of greatness, honestly. It's something that excites me, though. It's not something I'm afraid of. It's something that excites me to be able to help where I can and help to step into that role.